Hello everybody and welcome to episode 3 of What's the Quack podcast. Joining me today is an old friend of mine from YouTube way back, Corey. You might have remembered him from an older video of mine, Things I Hate About Being Sick, and his channel used to also be named You're and Moron. So Corey, welcome to the podcast. Glad to have you. And
How you I thought you were actually asking me a question. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, Corey, and you?
I'm wonderful. I could not be better. I'm so excited for this opportunity.
I'm just going to switch off my formal voice now that I have the intro over.
All right.
So I'm going to open it up with a first question because it's rather fitting. It's from Luke O'Brien. He asks, how did you two meet and what's the best experience you've shared over the years?
How did we meet? That's a good question.
I can't remember. Somebody asked me on Discord the other day and I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Let's say we met through YouTube or somewhere else. Let's call it the internet. We definitely met on the internet. Tinder, might have been Tinder.
No, it was Grindr, wasn't it?
It could have been Grindr, yeah, depending. Was it Tuesday?
You are a grindy fucker.
I am. I like to get right behind and just start working.
Putting in the work, rolling up the sleeves.
Hey, I have an idea. Before we actually get started, I wrote a joke to kind of set the tone of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Can I say it? Can I say it right now?
Go for it.
Okay. What is an owl's favorite way to get around?
I don't know, Corey. What is an owl's favorite way to get around?
On a scooter.
Oh, I fucking hate you.
Yeah. You hear that? That's the sound of everybody turning off.
That's the sound of everybody listening to this going to Corey's channel and subscribing. That's what that is.
Going, ugh.
I need more of this in my life. I need more dad jokes.
Yeah. What? How can you tell an owl's a white owl?
Oh, God. How?
When you see on the news that it's a school shooter.
Jeez.
That's an American joke.
Yeah. The like 55% of my audience that is American will enjoy that.
and also hate it. Yeah.
Yeah. That class is like self-deprecation.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll turn it over to some questions, Corey. In case people haven't known if I butched up the intro, me and Corey have known each other a long time. I think I had only a few hundred subscribers when me and you started talking, did we not?
Yeah, we were both really far down there.
Way back, yeah.
It's I'm not gonna lie, it's been really cool to watch you grow like so fast, Yeah,
that's what all the girls say.
Also, I see your subscriber number go up, and it just fills me with like a white hot rage.
Oh no, I get that as well. Yeah, there's like I have professional rivalries with other channels as well. I can remember it was me and The Right Opinion. We were like neck and neck for a while, and then he just fucking blew up out of nowhere, and now he's got like I'd say he must be coming up in 1 million subs now at this stage. And
yeah, he's got to be way up there.
And he's a lovely chap. Fantastic man to talk to. Can't say a bad word about him, but fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck him.
How dare he? How dare he?
Yeah, just fucking vaulting off into the fucking distance. No, I can never catch up. So I'll just harbor a silent
that resentment towards him.
Silent vile rage. Yeah. So me and Corey we've shared many a good time together. Typically on Discord, we haven't actually met in person. We just know each other through online, and we're just a couple of lads who like to talk an awful lot of shit. And usually about 65% of our conversations are sex, well, women, you name it.
Yeah, bashing our wives or girlfriends or,
figuratively
former
and
girlfriends.
Literally,
Yep.
But, bashing in the right way, from behind.
Yeah, the correct way.
From behind their back and from behind their back.
Grabbing hair. Just whatever, really.
So we'll turn it over to another question because I think you might enjoy this one. Hoofy Garnett asks, what's the strangest place you've done it?
The strangest place?
Yeah. What's the weirdest place you banged a chick, as you Americans say, or you fucked a bure, as we would say?
When y'all banged a girl?
Y'all banged one of those big titty city girls.
I guess in an alley one time, right? In an alley, and then for a while, people at work kept calling me Alley Cat. Which is, frustrating.
I can just imagine you just down the alley going, meow. Do you ever hear two cats fucking? It's the most horrific sound you'll ever hear in your life.
It sounds like a nightmare, an actual nightmare.
It's a fucking rape.
If I was a female cat and I was like, does your dick have spines on it? No thanks.
I remember I fucked this girl in an alley before. It wasn't really an alley, it was actually the back of a Super Value, which is like a grocery store. And problem is, we were just gotten out of the pub, and this was before I had like a car or anything, so we had no place to fuck. So we just had to make do with this like car park. And I just had too much drink in me, and I just could not come. Poor fucking girl. Between her arm, her mouth, I say like, she got up the next morning, her arm must have been twice the size from the fucking muscle mass she built up, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and also the smell of behind a supermarket.
Yeah, it's a pungent smell of piss.
You get piss, you get the dumpsters, you get all the rotting cardboard boxes that are thrown away back there.
But you know, the kind of unique smell of alley piss, it smells like piss that's been pissed on. You know, and pissed on again and again and again. You just kind of get this alley aroma.
It gets like that nice film over it, and then somebody pisses and breaks the film, and then it's just worse again.
Yeah, you're just reactivating it. I would say though, the strangest place I've done it, or at least most obscure. I remember I was at this water park here in Ireland. It's called Splash World. Some people might know it. And I was there with my ex at the time, my missus at the time, and we were there with another couple. And we're after like swimming, doing the slides, all that kind of shit. And we were back inside the changing rooms, and my mate was in one changing room over. His name was Gary, and he started making a noise as if he was like fucking his missus for a laugh, you know, just over the wall, you know, just messing. And that just gave me the idea. And I just looked at the ex and I was like, well, why don't we actually fucking here? Because she was like fucking naked and wet standing in front of me. So I was like, fuck it. So yeah, we just started fucking inside the changing rooms while he was still making fake sex noises, thinking it was hilarious. Little did he know, like, fucking I had the ex's tits pressed against the side of the change room, just giving her socks.
It's all dirty in there. Yeah. That reminds me of, what was it? It was like a school, like a middle school bathroom. I was with this girl,
Please tell me it wasn't with a student.
her dad was like a PE coach, right? So she went to go meet him, and she's like, hey, you should come over. So we went over, and then we just snuck off to like the little kid bathroom. And the toilet, you know, the toilet is like really little. It's like ankle height, you know. So we're in the we're in the stall with like a little tiny toilet just banging. It was weird. Yeah, I felt like a giant.
You're like fucking Gandalf there after walking into an old hobbit house.
Just grunting.
Women love that kind of fucking public stuff though.
They really do.
They go mental for it. Like us guys were just like, you know, fucking throwing an old kinky outfit there, or, you know, just talk dirty to me. Women just want to be outside at the risk of being caught, in my experience.
They do.
Like
the risk of being caught is great for them. Yeah. You know, like a porta potty. I had sex in a porta potty one time. Right, we were like passing by a construction site.
Fucking romantic.
We were, and yeah, I mean, you know, obviously her face was kind of like near the rim of the toilet because that's the only position you can do it in, you know. So we're trying, and nobody can come because it's a nightmare. But then all my friends are outside and they start throwing rocks at it. Oh, so God. It sounds like Vietnam. It's like explosions going off, and then they come up and start shaking it. So the only thing you can do is just kind of, you know, put yourself back in your pants and leave. But then you walk out, and you know you still have an erection, so you're walking around just pointing at all your friends, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Should have kicked that door open, lad, and just like fucking had the cock in the hand, cocked and loaded.
Yeah, it's like, hey, someone's finishing me.
It's like nobody's going to charge you if you have an erect cock in your hand. You know, they're just going to run the other direction.
So that's a good question.
Here's a good one. This is from Megan B. This is for the both of you lads. How do you feel about no longer being in your 20s, and what advice would be the most helpful in surviving your 30s? If I've assumed your age, apologies for your voice. Yeah, okay, so we are in our 30s.
Yes.
So the long and short of it, what's it like being in our 30s? Are we miserable about not being 20 anymore?
I mean, in a way.
I'm not. I thought I would be. When I was in my late 20s and I was like approaching 30, the idea of it made me sad, because I remember thinking back to when I was maybe about 12, 13 years old, and I'd look at somebody who was 30 and I'd be like, wow, they're old. Like,
yeah.
You know,
ew.
They might as well be old men at that stage. But no, as I've hit 30 and kind of settled down in it, I'm starting to realize I'm much happier in my 30s than what I was in my 20s. Like, you have the main thing that a lot of fellas in particular overlook about being 30 is you're approaching your prime as a man when you're in your 30s.
Oh yeah, you get your man strength.
Yeah. Like a woman's prime is anywhere between 21 and 28, we'll say, in that kind of looks wise typically. But a man doesn't really hit his fucking sexiness or his sexiest until he's about mid-30s, I'd say. Like that's when a man matures. It's like a fine wine. You
get to like the late 30s and the early 40s, you know, and you start getting gray.
Yeah,
and that makes you even sexier.
You do. You get those streaks of silver there in the beard, you know. They love that.
A woman just freaks out when she sees a gray hair.
But sure, that's because there's so little of them actually see it, because they do not but dye their fucking hair all the time.
Yeah. Then it falls out and you got to clean it out of the drain.
Now, my missus is taken to, sometimes she'll just sit there when I'm like working on a video and just point out random grey hairs that are like coming on my head or my beard. You know, you'd always have one or two that would just appear here and there. And she just likes to point them out as if it bothers me. And I'm just like, listen, you're a woman. Statistically, you're going to age like milk.
Somebody said that men's value appreciates like houses and women's like cars.
Yeah.
And that's a really good point. You drive it off the lot and it just crashes.
Yeah, like there is exceptions to the rule. There is like, certainly you do have your like Jennifer Anistons and your Liz Hurleys and stuff out there as well, that do hold up quite well. But then like you're like for me now, I'd be very fond of Liz Hurley, but I'm just like, Liz Hurley is very attractive, but is she more attractive than like a 25-year-old in her prime? No. Yeah, so that's the kind of thing you put up against.
Yeah, and that's like when you see Liz Hurley, you say, wow, she's good for her age. And when you have to say that, you know, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, you got to qualify it. It's like guys that are into like fat women, you know, when they're looking for porn, they have to type in, you know, instead of just like gorgeous girl, they have to type in gorgeous fat girl. Or, you know, if you have to add something, then that woman is not correct.
That's always my thing. Like, as you'd often see in like the porn genre, is BBW. Is that big breasted woman or big beautiful woman?
When I was a kid, it used to be big black woman in the ads, right? BBW used to be big black women, and now I think it's big beautiful woman.
What do you start? I suppose you just look big tits. You don't really have to censor yourself on porn sites, do you?
Yeah, try to beat the system.
Enormous breasts. Oh God. Right, Corey. Paul Curley asks, where did you get your first shift? I assume you know what a shift is, do you?
Is that a kiss or
making out? Yeah, essentially
making out.
Yeah, just for the people listening there, if you haven't noticed, Corey is very American.
Bro.
Just in case that snuck under the radar.
Yeah, probably like in school. You know, like in school.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Coincidentally, I had my first shift in an alleyway.
Wait, were you wearing a wig? and I was very drunk.
At that time I was in Arizona in America. It was I did a video before. It was about the drunkest I've ever been as a teen, and I mentioned a girl, Zoe, that I was like seeing at the time, and that was my first shift. I was like 14 as well, which is kind of embarrassing. That's quite late.
No, that seems about right. I think mine was in my teens also.
I had just turned, was it 18 or was still just about 17 when I lost my virginity. I was a real late bloomer.
I think all women lose their virginity at 17. I think that's like the
I've known some women in my life that have told me that they lost their virginity at like 14 and 15.
Oh yeah. And that's usually by like a dude that's like 27, you know. Hey, hang on one sec.
Yep.
All right.
You're back, are you?
No, I kept hearing something in the hallway.
No.
It was the other kid.
When you've been American, you were just out there with your gun, blindly firing around the corner.
You fuckers! I went to go sell somebody something on Craigslist last night, and I was like, should I bring my gun? Because he's like, yeah, let's go meet in this empty parking lot, like this abandoned mall, you know, when it's dark out. And I was like, I wonder if I should bring my gun? And my wife's like, you know what you should do is just bring a knife.
Yeah, but then you don't want to be that guy that brings a knife to a gunfight, you know?
That's what I told her. I was like, hey, listen, if I pull out a knife and dude has a gun and I get shot, I'm going to call you and remind you that you're a piece of shit for making me bring a knife to a gunfight.
You'll be remembered for the man who literally brought a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah, local Arizona man.
They call you Florida man anyway.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. So that probably covers the next question. MNT Carton asks, what is the stupidest thing you've ever done to Corey?
The stupidest thing I've ever done? Oh, man. That's a thinker. You got to think on that one.
Oh, there's one that jumps out to me in my mind. And it's not that it's like really stupid. It was just really fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, so same thing, yeah.
Yeah, like it's just like fucking, when I think about it, it hurts my soul still. So basically I was out one night and I was wearing this like fucking Christmas hat, you know, like the Santa hats.
Right, yeah.
And I was talking to this girl, rather attractive girl that I know from around the town. And she stole my Christmas hat and ran away with it. And as she was like running away, I turned to one of the lads I was talking to. And I goes, Jesus, you hate to see him go, but you love to see him walk away. You know, bit of man talk there.
Right.
And he just turns to me and went, lad, that's my sister. And like only then did I make the connection that the two of them had the same last name. I went, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh man.
And it was just like one of them situations where like, oh, sorry, lad. And he's like, it's all right. Look, just let's not talk about it. Like, the kind of fucking pure awkward. Wouldn't even joke to let me off the hook or nothing. Just let me fucking stew in it.
Just never mention it again.
Yeah. Oh, so fucking bad. And I was so annoyed at myself that I didn't make the connection. I just had a few beers in me and I just wasn't thinking.
One time we were all walking. It was probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, after drinking. In not in a blackout state, but definitely, I was definitely browned out, where you just get flashes of what you've done here and there. And we were walking and I unscrewed this car antenna as we were walking. And I started whipping one of the guys I was with in the legs, right? Just being guys. Yeah, just being guys. And he's a big dude, like a huge guy. So he grabs me and we start wrestling. And, and I get down on the concrete and he falls with all his weight in one of his knees, just landed right on my leg. And you just heard like a crack, and I was like, get off. So I got him off and I tried to stand up and my leg like buckled under itself. Because he broke both of the bones right next to my ankle.
Oh.
So everybody was, really drunk. So I had to crawl off to the side of the road because, at 3 o'clock in the morning, all the people are going to work. The early people go to work.
Yeah.
So I had to crawl off the side of the road. And it's America, so I can't just call an ambulance because I don't want to pay, $2,000. Yeah. So this dude takes his shoelace off and he finds a stick. And he ties the stick to my leg.
Well, he made like an impromptu fucking splint, was it?
He did. And then we flagged down this lowrider truck. So they put me in the back of this truck. But, a lowrider doesn't have any shocks. So we're driving, and every pebble that we hit, because there's no shocks, I can feel the bones in my leg like grinding.
Oh, jostling around.
Yeah, and we finally get to the hospital. And I tell my friend Luke, I was like, dude, this is my only nice pair of pants. Don't let him cut it off. And he's a drunk also, So we go into the ER and he comes in there with me. And this doctor comes in to like get my pants off. And he's like, don't take his pants off. And the doctor's like, I got to cut him off. And he's like, don't. He like starts trying to fight this doctor to not take my pants off, And we're both so belligerent and drunk. The guy's like, yeah, okay. And he just fucking leaves. He just leaves. So the next morning, they wait until I wake up. Right. And I'm totally sober at this point. They hooked up an IV while I was sleeping at some point to like rehydrate me. And then all these guys come in, like a bunch of guys, like 4 guys come in and then a doctor. And 2 of the guys grab my arms and one grabs my leg and one grabs my other leg. I was like, hey guys, what's going on? and the doctor takes my foot and pulls it straight towards himself and turns it to pop my leg kind of back where it's supposed to be. And then they put like a temporary cast on it and they just kind of send me on my way to like have surgery.
Like dislocated and fractured kind of thing, was it?
It was fractured, but he needed to kind of set it because I wasn't able to figure out a surgery until a week later. So he had to like pull it back and kind of put it back where it's kind of supposed to be before they taped it up and just sent me home for a week. Until I had a surgery on it.
That's like that. Yeah. Like the American health service really baffles me. Speaking as a European, I'll come down off my high horse.
No, it's a nightmare. Yeah.
Would you say $2,000 to get an ambulance?
It's up there. It's way up there. Yeah.
Fucking hell! I don't even know if they charge for that over here. That's how little kind of health charges interfere with life over here.
Oh yeah, you really got to think about everything. Like, am I really dying?
Like. Hypothetically, if you were dying of some ailment, say you got like terminal cancer or something like that, and you couldn't afford it, would you be left to die?
You probably start,
like if
selling
you couldn't
your
afford
house.
Treatment and shit, like yeah.
Yeah, eventually you probably just die.
What would I say? Yeah. What if you didn't have any assets you could sell or anything like that? You were just broke.
Then you could try to get on some kind of weird government insurance, but then you get like a government treatment, which is kind of garbage here, or. Hopefully, I guess now everybody just starts GoFundMe's here.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can you, I just got cancer. Can you donate to my GoFundMe? You see them all over everywhere.
That's a flawed fucking system when you need to rely on the goodness of people to
it's ridiculous.
Get fucking medical treatment.
That first surgery I had cost well over $100,000 just to fix my leg.
Hell. Get a house for that over here.
But it didn't work. Like the guy messed it up. It didn't take. So I had to go back 2 weeks later and get another one done, which was even worse because then they had to cut the leg like all the way open to take out like the metal bars and everything.
Ugh, fucking hell.
So I have all these really cool scars on my leg, which I like, but You know, that was like another $100,000. And they don't just refund you the first one. You know, it's like, well, it didn't work, so I shouldn't have to pay for it.
Yeah, it's just like, listen, I have no input, and I gave you the money, and you didn't do the job. Or you didn't do it correctly.
Like, nah, you still owe us, sorry.
It's like, I still have my receipt from the first one. What if I just bring that back and you refund me the difference?
I remember after the first surgery, I woke up in the hospital, and it was maybe like the first day after the surgery, this nurse came in, and not even like a hot nurse, like just an angry, shitty nurse, you know? And she's like, come on, we got to get up and exercise your leg. And I was like, I can't walk on it. You know, like they just fucking glued it together. Like I can't walk on it. And she's like, come on, get up. And I was like, I'm not going to walk on it. You cannot walk on a leg that you just broke and screwed in. You just
clearly got like her fucking files mixed up or something, did she? Maybe,
but she got fucking mad. She was mad that I said no to her. So she slammed the side of the bed back up and it hit my leg. And it was, anyway, they gave me so many painkillers. I don't know if I ever told you this one. They gave me so many painkillers because you get to hit a button. Like they give you a little button, like if I need
more that's morphine. Like the morphine drip, isn't it? You just
so you're just clicking that button as much as you can, right? And then after about a week, you realize like I haven't taken a shit, right? I haven't taken a shit in a week because I'm so constipated.
You're just so fucking high off your tits.
Yeah,
that you couldn't shit.
I haven't taken a shower or anything. So like a hotter nurse comes in and she's like, "Hey, you know, you need to take a shower, or do you want to take a shower?" And I was like, "Yeah, please, but I can't."
I bet you're like, if she was like anyway hot, I bet you're sitting there like going, "Is this Pornhub?"
She was definitely like a hot nurse, right? So I was like, "Yeah, I need a shower, but I can't." So she puts me in like it's called a shower wheelchair. I don't know if you've ever seen those. I guess they use them for old people. They put me in this shower wheelchair, and then a second hot nurse comes in, and I was like,
shit.
"Oh, right." So they wheel me into this big ass shower. Like the whole, it's one of the ones where the whole bathroom is a shower. Yeah. You know, so you can spray the walls or just do whatever you want.
Like a changing room type thing.
Yeah. So these two hot nurses are like giving me a shower, and I'm just sitting in this wheelchair just fucked up on morphine. And they're both like washing me down. I'm like, this is kind of cool. You know, this is kind of cool. And then I hear like a... and then it just smells like a nightmare, and they wheel me back, and there's no ass on this chair, on the shower chair. It's just empty, right? It's like a toilet seat, and on the floor of the shower is like a massive pile of shit. And it's awful because it's hot and steamy in the room, you know, and the steam kind of makes the smell stick to your skin. and that was probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life, because you just got to wheel out and then you apologize and they're like, you know, it's no big deal. We deal with it all the time. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
I've never heard of somebody getting literally so excited that they had a shit, you know?
I don't know if it was the hot water or what it was, but I couldn't even feel it come out. It was just like, and that's like, I hope that wasn't me, but I also hope it wasn't them, because either way, the mood's ruined.
Oh dear God, how do you even recover from that?
It was, you know, you just don't look them in the face anymore.
I could like, and you'd be the kind of fucker that would try salvage it with the hot nurse. You'd be like still trying to hit on her and shit. You would just like, listen, you're barking up the wrong tree, lad.
So you come here often, or?
It's like any interest I had on you got splattered on the fucking floor.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, because if that was me in hospital now, you know, fucking, and I had two hot nurses basically showering me, like if they so much as glanced off my genitals, they'll just hear a thud, you know? That's, you'd just be erect. You wouldn't be able to have any kind of other input with your body. You couldn't have a discussion with your penis and say, listen, penis, I need you to fucking cop on. He'd be just like, absolutely not, Ducky. I'm here to fucking stay for the next 20 minutes.
Focus up, buddy. Focus up.
And you're bollock naked, so you can't even like hide it with your waistband or anything.
Are you getting an erection, sir? I don't know.
You don't even answer. Just look her square in the eye and smirk.
It's like, I don't know. Am I?
Why don't you check?
It always looks like this, ma'am. This is the smallest it gets. Is it cold in here?
Sitting there with a fucking giant erection going, my God, I'm so flaccid. A wiggle of the eyebrows.
Wink. Yeah. Wink.
I was just speaking of hot nurses. I remember I used to work in a hospital for about a year. It was like this little shop inside the hospital. It wasn't actually like useful or saving people's lives. But there was this like really fucking attractive physiotherapist that used to always come and get coffee. What was her name? Was it Keely? Her name was something like that anyway. And she just like, you know, blonde, fake tan, big tits. And I was quite young at the time as well. I think it was about 18 or 19. So
that sounds like a Keeley, yeah.
Yeah. I just had to kind of keep my my waist below the counter every time I had to serve her. She was just unbelievably attractive. And every now and again I had to do rounds, so it'd be like taking a trolley up around the rooms in this hospital for people who can't get out of bed, just see if they want anything from the shop, that kind of a. I had the occasional wank thinking about her up until this moment, and it's when I walked into a room and she was helping this old man who was sitting on the edge of a bed in a gown. And like the hospital gown is just cloth on the front, cloth on the back, and it's quite revealing and loose and just floats in the breeze.
Oh, yeah.
And he was sitting on the edge of the bed, bollock naked, and she was like one hand on the top of his thigh at the back, just under his arse, and the other hand on his calf, and she was like stretching his leg out and shit, and he's just all man balls were like hanging down, and it was just this horrific sight of just leathery folds and horribleness, like, it was like fucking, it was like somebody punched a gremlin. Oh, fucking, it looked like E.T. sitting on the bed. It was ridiculous.
It looks like an elephant's kneecap.
Yeah, it's just fucking horrific looking. And I seen her just do it, and ever since, I don't know why, because like there's no reason for her to get less attractive in my head, but when I seen her do that, I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm never going to be able to have a toss thinking about her without seeing that image. It's
no, yeah, certain things get burned in your head. Have you ever like watched, you're on Pornhub or whatever, and you're doing your business, but then you fart, like just a small fart, and then you associate the smell with what you're watching, and you're like, you know what, this girl is trash now, and you can never look at that girl ever again. It's like, sorry, whoever, you're ruined.
Oh fuck. No, I can't. To be honest, I can't say I've ever had that problem. I'm a fucking gentleman. I never fart around myself when I'm wanking.
Right. Sorry, I forgot. I'm in the presence of royalty.
I could just imagine you like sitting in a hunched position as well, so your face is like directly over it.
It's like, yeah, get. Oh.
Lovely barn.
There she is.
I was one of the lads I used to live with, Hef. That was his creep vice. Every now and again we'd be out drinking, and you just dare each other to do something fucking random. And he had this really good what he called creep voice. It was like a rapist voice, and we used to just like get him to approach like a group of women and just say hello, but he has to use his creep voice.
Yeah.
So he just like walk into the center of a circle of women and just go, "How are you girls? Are you well?" Oh, just fucking so brilliant. And you just see them all just turn inside out with the fucking fear and grossness of it all.
Do you remember that movie, The Neverending Story?
I never seen it, no.
No, can you say in that voice, they look like strong hands.
They look like strong hands.
Oh shit, that is the voice. The big guy made out of a mountain of rocks. Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh Jesus, you're looking well. That's a fine pair you have there. Baby. Right, we got another question from Jacob Champagne, or Champagne for you normies.
Ooh, he must come from a certain region of France.
Would you date a stripper/hooker? And that is two different questions now that I'm reading it.
Yeah, I've been with strippers. I would never, ever date a hooker. I would
absolutely date a stripper, and I would absolutely not date a hooker.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah. There are guys that pay money to go down on hookers. Like, why would you? What are you doing with your life, you fucking idiot?
Yeah, it's so stuff like that though. That's like what's the best way to say? That's just like, I fear that's how most fellas end up. Like, as a man, I was talking to you about this before, but as a man, you can't go backwards, like, with the things you enjoy, your kinks and stuff. Like, once you find something you enjoy, you can only go forward. You can never go, once you find doggy style, you can never go back to missionary,
Yeah.
It's and it gets progressively worse. It's just like when people get into, like, I like heels. I love a woman who's wearing heels. In the back of my mind, I'm just like, oh God, what if I figure out I like feet? Now, I don't like feet, but that's the only escalation that can go to.
Yeah. You gotta stop yourself every once in a while. Like, look, dude, we cannot, like little Corey, we cannot go down this path.
If you compare your porn searches from like 10 years ago, compare them to now, like, how much more fucked up are they now than what they were 10 years ago?
Yeah. It's like, as a kid, I can't believe as a kid, I used to just like pictures, like, ew.
Oh yeah. I remember like having a toss back when the internet, like, you'd have to click on an image and then go make yourself a cup of tea or something while you're waiting for it to load,
Yeah, it loads you actually watch it loading from the top down, like line by line.
Yeah, and then like it loads up and it's not as good as you thought it was going to be, and then you have a choice. You're like, either I have a toss to this, or I wait for another one for 10 minutes to load up.
Yeah, you're like, oh man, is that a nipple? That's a nipple. And then it's like, and then it's like a birthmark. And you're like, oh shit, you gotta wait.
It was worse. This is like, and you're just like, oh yeah, tits, and it's going down, and she's wearing underwear. And you're like, for fuck's sake,
son of a bitch.
But no, I definitely date a stripper. I think a stripper would, like, you know, first of all, pole dancing is attractive to pretty much anybody with male genitalia, you know?
Yeah.
That's you know, it's definitely like an erotic dance. Who doesn't want a missus that could do that, you know? And she'd be flexible as fuck as well. So like, that's introducing a load of new positions.
That girl from the alley cat story was actually a stripper.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that I used to work with at another place. She wasn't
like a Tuesday night stripper, was she?
No, she wasn't.
Like a slow night.
She wasn't from Dick's or anything. No, she was. I used to work with her somewhere else, and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go be a stripper." And I was like, "That's fucking awesome," you know. So she did, and I met her there.
The thing with the hooker then as well, she'd have a pussy like a badly packed kebab, you know? It'd be just falling out of her.
Oh yeah,
but like a wizard sleeve, like a hippo yawning. It'd be just fucking absolutely bet us under. Anytime
she wants to buy anything, you know, she's like, "Let me take you out to dinner." She pulls out money, and you're like, ugh. You got that from sucking somebody's dick.
There's me sitting there kind of going like, fucking, what would be the worst thing about dating a hooker? I don't know. You'd probably hear her flaps slap together as she's walking. That's how loose they are. And you're just like, fuck, she's not buying me shit.
She's in a skirt driving a convertible and it sounds like fucking applause. What about, okay, so no, obviously no hookers, but what about like a porn star?
No.
No,
see, I don't. I'm kind of territorial in the sense that like no other man can put his cock in my woman. You know, that's a given for me now. Like, absolutely not. But second of all,
I hate it.
I would say every man out there who's like with a girl has one thing that he's really good at in bed. Be it like he's good with his fingers, or he's good with his tongue, or he, you know, does a particular position, or he's an extra long knob, or whatever. But if you're like dating somebody who's a porn star, it doesn't matter what you think you're good at doing. She's got somebody else that can do it better.
Yeah. You're like, hey, you want to get crazy tonight? Can we do this? And she's like, ugh. I mean, I did that this morning twice.
Yeah, and if you're just like a normal guy who can just, you know, get about 5 or 10 minutes in a round, that's not good enough, because she's banging guys who like take fucking enhancement pills to make them last way longer, and you cannot compete with that level of dick in the dick and give, like, you know?
Yeah, you're like, hey, you want to fool around? And she's like, yeah, hang on, and she has to take an ice pack off herself. So yeah,
and you know she's going to be like, oh, but it's work, it's not the same. It's like, no, you enjoy that dick when you're getting it.
One of those moans was real. Don't fucking lie to me. Don't you fucking? Yeah. I know you liked it. Yeah, I would hate it. I would hate it. Like, what's that dude on Logan Paul's podcast that the dude that's like 40, that Mike guy?
Oh, God, I don't know. I'd sooner dangle my balls into a pocket of a pool table than have to listen to him.
Well, I forget Mike. I think his name is Mike. Anyway, he's with Lana Rhoades, right? And
oh, that's the BMX guy, isn't it?
I don't really know anything about him, except that he's with this porn star, and I that would just drive me absolutely crazy, like absolutely crazy. You know, all your friends know, all of them. You know.
Your mates have seen her fuck other men. That's where you draw the line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, all of them know. They all know. They would all be watching. If it's a famous one, and even if it's not famous, as soon as that slips out, like, yeah, she's done porn like twice, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'll be right back, and then Google it, you know, on their phones and watch it. And then
curiosity would be way too much, yeah.
Yeah, they would all know immediately.
The next question from 99 Mint Alteza. Would you drive a Lexus IS200, and do you have any interesting cars? I'd imagine that's kind of aimed at both of us. For me, I do have quite a bit of interesting cars. I like the older Japanese cars, the 90s Japanese cars. But what I will say, and he probably won't like it seeing he's asking this question, is I would not drive a Lexus IS200 because it's one of the slowest 2-litre cars you can buy. It's very pretty, but fuck me, they're slow.
I actually had to Google that because I've never seen that here. We don't have that kind of Lexus.
Do you know what a Toyota Altezza is? Like, an Altezza is like a sportier model of an IS200 for all the world. I think they're pretty much the same car under the bodywork.
Yeah, they look pretty similar. Yeah. No, I wouldn't
what's your
that.
dream car? What's your dream car, Corey? Seeing as we're on the question.
My dream car, I would probably pick a big ass truck. You know. Like a big...
You're such a stereotype. Big old fucking muscle car.
Not really lifted. Oh, muscle cars are great too. Like a 68 Mustang. Yeah. But yours would probably have a hatchback. You fucking loser.
No, car I'd really like now, there's a few I'd really go for. I like the Lexus LFA. Maybe Honda S2000's pretty nice convertible.
The LFA is a pretty nice car.
Yeah, the sound of them. They like, you know, it's kind of, the sound is up there with a good moan of a woman, you know?
Every time you hit that pedal.
That's why I need to get the newer model Teslas, don't they have that thing where you can like change the sound of the engine?
Yeah. They have to pump in engine noise.
Yeah. So it just like set it to like a woman gradually moaning louder and louder. Just, ah!
Every time it shifts gears, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming out the exhaust.
Yeah. Everybody outside just staring at you.
You just start the engine and it's like, ooh. I don't know, just to troll people, I'd have to set it as like a gay man receiving some dick. Just like a really camp gay man, you know, like a real feminine gay man.
Yeah, like once a week, it just changes.
Yeah, every Tuesday.
Yeah, every Tuesday. It just turns to like a
really effeminate man.
Gay SMR. You want to hear a story real quick about my kid that I thought you'd think was funny?
Yeah, I was just for the listeners there. Corey has 2 kids.
I do.
And, you know, is pursuing a YouTube career in live streaming.
Yeah,
so.
that's kind of what the whole live stream thing happened. It was because right when I had that second kid.
Yeah, because you used to make like really fucking funny videos. And then once your kids came along, you just kind of pivoted towards live streams.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I don't have time once I had that baby. So 3 years ago, I had that baby, you know, and 3 years ago, I started the live streams just because I wanted to keep the channel alive, you know, but I didn't have time to film and they just eat up all your time.
Oh, they do. Like that's one of the main reasons why I don't want kids is because I'm very selfish with my time. And I don't need anything else taking that away from me.
I started when the oldest one started school, right? When she was really little, she started school. That's when I started doing YouTube. And I would be able to do that again because this one's school age now, but all the schools are locked down. So I'm here nonstop 24/7 with both of these kids now. That's a nightmare. But anyway, I was going to the bathroom, you know, and then all of a sudden I hear like a running down the hallway and the little 2.5-year-old comes skidding in like a cartoon character. And she extends her little pointer finger and she touches me right in the balls. And she goes, she goes, she's like, I like that. One day I'm going to get one of those. And then she just leaves.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And that's what having a kid is like. There's no privacy and there's no filter until they get older.
And you're just like sitting there as her father kind of going, the fuck did she mean by that?
Yeah, excuse me? You're grounded. Take the hinges off her doors.
You'll not see one of these until you're 36.
You're in trouble.
The Shadowblade asks a question. I've had a few social beverages of alcohol on Saturday, 3 cans of Copperberg, and woke up Sunday morning with the full effects of a hangover, including puking my ring up. There's no way I could feel that bad after 3 cans, surely, and 5 hours after drinking them. I suspect it's more a case of a dodgy Hillbillies, which is it's like a restaurant over here. I had 2 hours before I started drinking, but would love to get your input on this. I know what this is immediately. So this guy had 3 cans and woke up with the mother of all hangovers the next day. And what that is, that's either a bad pint or it's just straight up gone off. I remember I was staying at a friend's house one night. I was about 17, 18. So, you know, obviously because I'm Irish, I was a seasoned drinker at this stage.
Yeah.
And he had like a load of cans of cider in his house, but he doesn't drink cider. They were just there. So he's like, oh, you can have them. So I was like, oh yeah, grand. So I cracked them open. I was drinking away. And it was about 3-4 cans in. And I was like mid-sentence and I just fucking vomited out of nowhere. Like the vomit ambushed me. Like it was already on my lap before I realised what the fuck was going on. And it's all over the floor, on his couch, everything. It just fucking faulted out of me. Got up, got cleaned up and everything. And I fucking, once the dust had settled, I was like, what the fuck caused that? And I looked at the cans and they were like 8 months out of date. I've
done that exact same thing with cider. The exact same thing.
Yeah.
I drank some old ones and then I puked, but then also like I got food poisoning basically, you know? So it's coming out from all ends. You feel like you gotta puke, so you run to the bathroom, but then you also gotta have diarrhea, right? Right.
Yeah, so you're like sitting on the toilet and leaning into the sink.
So you sit on the toilet, but then it's like I gotta puke. So you lean down to puke and then diarrhea sprays on the floor behind you because you retch really hard. And then your wife has to clean it up, obviously, because you know they gotta earn their place.
This is a very shit heavy podcast, isn't
it? Yeah. That's true. Oh man, I gotta stop. No more shit talk. Let's do this.
Like when I sat down here, I was just like, Corey, we'll chill out and talk some shit. I think that may have gotten misconstrued.
Oh yeah, it's the language barrier.
It's funny you say that though, because like this chap said he was drinking 3 cans of Copperberg, which is a cider, and so yeah, it's probably just a cider thing. Like when cider goes off, it seems to just have a really bad effect on people.
But it doesn't really taste that different because it's such a strong flavor.
Yeah,
anyway.
And it's got a load of sugars and stuff in it as well, so it's always just going to be really sweet. I remember once I was on a night out and similar, I got a bad pint. I was about 4 or 5 drinks in, you know, kind of somewhere I was about halfway to my desired pissed, and
Right.
I just I just finished a pint, and I was immediately feeling nauseous. Like, I had to sprint into the bathroom, puked my ring up, and like the second I was done puking, I felt way fucking better. It wasn't
Yeah,
the
like
case
you're done.
Yeah, it wasn't like, you know, when you like get really drunk and you're just constantly puking for like an hour, you're just hunched over the toilet, shaking and just making weird breathing noises, just like
Your mouth gets all salty and wet.
yeah, and you're like fucking dribbling out of every orifice. But it wasn't like that. It was just like I went into the bathroom and just went better.
Yeah.
No, I was straight back I went straight back up to the bar, got another drink. I was fine for the night.
Oh man, one time I was at this house party. And I don't know what it was. Maybe I think I just drank too fast. You know how you drink so many beers so fast, your stomach just expands. And
Yeah, it's like if you're trying to catch up with other people as well. Like if you arrived late.
Yeah, if you come in late, and then your stomach expands if you move, and it gets filled with foam. So I run to the bathroom and I can't make it. Right, so I just puke and I spray the walls. But this. But this bathroom, it was a really nice house. So all the walls were marble, the floor was marble, everything was marble, right? So it instantly turns to like an ice skating rink, and my feet are slipping out from under me. And I finally it's like a cartoon. I make it to the door, I open the door and I get out. And there's people waiting. You know, you immediately just lie. You know, you're like, oh, what? You should see what some animal did in there. You know?
You're just trying to save face. That wasn't me.
No, man, this is unbelievable. People just do not take care of themselves.
I remember once I was staying at my mate's house below in Cork, and it was a similar kind of thing where it was one of these nights where the bar was closing, so I just thought, fuck it, I better get like 3 more drinks, order them all together. I can tip away at that before it properly closes, because, you know, they always tell you beforehand. So I did that, and I just necked 3 drinks, and then we headed home, but I was like, the 3 drinks just fucking didn't sit right. And when we got back to the flat, we kind of went to bed early enough. I think it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd fallen asleep on his couch and woke up 20 minutes later. And like, my eyes opened, and then immediately it was just like, my fucking mouth had just filled with puke. Like, straight away.
Oh,
there was a half a second between my eyes opening and my cheeks being puffed out with puke. So like, the first thing I did was I put my hand in front of my face to like try hold it while I made a run for his sink, because it was the closest thing to me. But as I was running, there was like more puke coming, and it was just spraying out between my fingers.
Yeah, and that just makes it worse, right? Because it's like little jets of puke on all different directions.
Oh, it was like do you ever see like them Febreze trigger sprays? It was like that, just fucking misting out between my fingers, just fucking getting everywhere. Oh, it was fucking so horrible. It just the smell of puke off your hand and everything. You're just like, oh my god,
it sticks on everything. Yeah.
And what's worse was like I got a bit in his carpet, and he had like a rug in the kitchen that I got on as well. So I had to spend the next like 45 minutes cleaning it up just to hide the shame, so nobody would notice the next morning.
Oh yeah, it's really nice that you cleaned it though.
Yeah,
people,
like, you know,
a lot of people
like,
just wouldn't do it.
See, it was like kind of a shared house, so it wasn't like my mate's house solely. He had roommates and shit, so you always have to, you know, if you can, give the lads a hand after a house party. Give them a hand cleaning it up if you're hanging around, you know.
If you stay, especially, yeah. Oh yeah, I listened to the first podcast the other day.
Oh, the one with the missus, yeah.
Yeah. I think the funniest part was when you told her all she does is pet dogs all day for a job. And like everything else, you could say whatever you wanted, and she was laughed about it and joked about it. But for like a split second, she got upset. It was really funny.
Well, that's because I always like poke fun at her. I'm just like, she get in from work, and I was like, "How was your day?" And she's like, "Oh, I had a hard day." And it's like, "How could you have had a hard day? I've been sitting here editing all day, and you've been in there petting dogs."
Yeah, it was really funny because you could sense that she was upset.
Did you like my fan joke, by the way?
I did. I laughed. I laughed pretty good at that one. I like her. Oh, Jesus.
That's a noise I've made her make for 7 years now. Just that kind of complete disappointment.
It really is the best. I told her that scooter joke. I was like, hey, the owl joke. And she just like makes us like a fake smile and goes, oh yeah, that's funny. I say, oh, was it funny? Was it funny? Because you didn't laugh.
Yeah, so here's the thing though. When you first get with a girl, everything you fucking say is funny because they're not used to that kind of fucking level of humor or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just all new and it's funny and it's exciting. But you know, when you've been together years, that wears you down. I'm sure it does anyway. At least for, you know, I can only assume that wears them down over time.
They're like, oh, here comes some more shit.
Most fellas, like the one thing we enjoy most out of a relationship is sex. We're kind of hornballs, and that really never gets old for us. That's biologically programmed not to get old for us.
Yeah, it's the best thing in the world. Absolute best thing in the world.
Like, if my missus was funny, I would fucking hate it.
Yeah, I think after sex, my favorite thing in a woman is if they think I'm funny. Like if they don't laugh at me, it's like I don't want anything to do with you. You know?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you do get a nice kind of endorphin boost there when you make a girl laugh.
Yeah, it's way up there with sex.
Well, that's like the two things as a man you need to be able to do is make a girl laugh and do something particularly skilled in bed. I wouldn't say fuck her well because I wouldn't consider myself a good fucker.
No, I'm
a decent fucker. I can hold my own, but I wouldn't be bragging about it.
Yeah, I'm an absolute nightmare. Ever since I was a kid, I've been just working on improving my time. You know, just getting it quicker and quicker and quicker. Just get in, get out, and go about my day.
You just want it over and done with, do you?
Yeah, just like all right, and we're good.
But you do have them days on occasion where you'll set aside an evening for it. You know, maybe you're just a bit pent up. It's been a few weeks or something. You're just like, I need a fucking balls to the wall, kinky old session altogether now.
Yeah, or if you come home and you notice that her teeth are red and her mouth is red, it's like she's been hitting the wine, and all right, this is gonna be a good night. We can just go crazy and do whatever we want. Yeah,
they're so 50-50 nights like that though. There's some nights I'd be out to missus and I'd be just fucking feeding her drink. Just like, well, we're having a good time, but in my head it's like, no, I'm gonna get her fucking drunk and we're gonna have some really filthy sex. That's all you're thinking of as a man. And then like flash forward 3 hours later, I'm just standing in the bathroom holding her hair. She's getting sick into the toilet. I'm like, fuck it, this backfired.
Oh, son of a bitch. Or they get really tired.
They just get into the bed and just pass out.
And you're like, hey, what about this? What about? And she'll like take my hand and just put it on her tit. And she's like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do with that? How does this help me? How great do you think you are? You lazy bitch. Unbelievable. Like, what if she's like, oh, I'm so horny and I was tired and I just put her face on my dick. Wake up, sweetie. We got work to do. I'm not Bill Cosby. This isn't cool.
Get up the next morning. They're just like, oh, I'm so sorry about last night. It's like, oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, we're just going to give me a sad hand job now.
Yeah. You've been awake the whole night sitting in the chair by the bed. Just seething with
fucking angry. Yeah. This is fucking bullshit.
She wakes up and she's like, she sees it. Okay. Before I came on today, I looked at my wife and I was like, hey, is there anything you don't want me to talk about? And she's like, yeah, everything, especially not sex. Because on my channel, one time, like a year ago, I talked about how I spit on her titty in the shower. And then like 2 days later, somebody made a song. Now
you've just done it again.
So somebody made a song called Tit Spit City, and it was just clips of it. And I played it for her, and she's really unhappy about it. So...
I said like one time, just because you mentioned like seeding on something, I remember one Halloween, she dressed up as, I think it was like Alice in Wonderland, but it was like really attractive, slutty outfit, and she had like the heels and the stockings, and she was looking mint, absolutely shaggable out the ears. And we got home, and I don't know what I was doing. I was like downstairs getting a drink of water or whatever like that. Whatever was happening, I came upstairs and she had taken the outfit and the makeup and everything off.
Oh, bitch.
I was of course filled with drink, so I had like no filter. I couldn't even like hide how upset I was at it.
Get back upstairs.
I was so angry at it. I was just so fucking annoyed. And like... of course, she wouldn't see the reasoning behind it because she's not programmed the same way as a guy. And I'm just there like, no, you wouldn't understand, right? But this is fucking horseshit.
It's like the one time you're like, go put your clothes back on.
Yeah.
You've never said that before, ever.
So I get to shag you all the time. How often do I get to shag Alice in Wonderland?
My wife and I, we've just gotten lazy with Halloween costumes. She doesn't try like sexy fireman. She doesn't try sexy anything anymore. Right? A few years ago, we just got t-shirts. Hers, we wrote brick on hers, and mine said bricklayer. Right? I was like, that's pretty funny. That's good enough.
That's pretty good though.
it's just all boring now. Like, hey,
every single year, my suggestions for her is just whatever I want to fuck. It doesn't like it's not about Halloween or anything. It's just like what mythical or fictional character do I want to shag tonight?
Yeah, maybe you should try to be Medusa so you can get me rock hard.
She'd be like, Conan, I think I might dress up as the Joker this year, and I'd be like, no, you don't want a Joker. You want a French maid.
Yeah. They're always trying some stupid shit. It's like, no. You're not going to be a zombie. We've tried that, and it's not cool. It's not fun. It's fun for me. That's so...
Do you know how you fuck with them with that? Just pretend you're like really fucking into it.
Pretend like you like whatever they like?
No, it's just like if she wants to dress up as like a corpse or a zombie. It's like, oh, fuck yeah. It's so hot.
Oh man, we're gonna fucking. it's gonna be an actual nightmare for you.
Just, I'll lie down. Just don't move. Don't say anything.
This might take me hours just because it's so great. What do you think if I'm like an apple? Get the fuck out of an apple. Come on, you know.
I seen this great picture online. It was like typical long-term couple, and it was like both of them had Halloween costumes, and she was dressed up as like the Egyptian queen was as Cleopatra.
Yeah,
and like next to her was a guy dressed up as a Caesar salad. And she looked so annoyed by it. You know, it was clearly like, oh, let's dress up as Caesar and Cleopatra. And she was like, yeah. And she went off dressed up as Cleopatra. He arrives on just like Caesar salad. And he's like, yeah, bitch. And she's like so unimpressed by it. Just that typical woman face. Or like, I don't fucking believe him.
All sour looking. It really is the best messing with your girlfriend. It's like the best thing in the world.
Yeah, like it's once the kind of the lust and presence and romance of the first year is kind of over. That's pretty much what takes over, especially for me anyway. Like I just fucking with the missus is like the best thing in the world. Like just sneaking up behind her, frightening the shit out of her, like, you know, taking the piss out of her where and when I can.
Yeah, no matter what kind of tiny flaw there is, you exploit it, you know, until they feel bad, and then you're like, I'm just kidding.
There was one time she got me lovely, because I've always had this like fear in the back of my head that if she spends so much time around me, eventually I'll start to rub off on her a little bit, and her like witticisms and quips will get better. Yeah, and it happened once in the kitchen. We're just kind of cooking food or whatever, and I made some like remark, and I just called her tits small or something about her tits being small anyway. And without missing a beat, she turned around and went, "Well, it's hard to compete with yours."
Ouch, you fat bastard.
And it was just so quick. I wasn't prepared. I don't think she'd ever hit me with a quip that fast. And I was just like, fuck.
When that happens, you kind of do the little, like it's just like a little bit of wind leaves your lungs, and you're like, shit.
Yeah, you just blink really hard and just kind of go, excuse me?
I gotta leave for a second. It has nothing to do with what you just said. I just gotta leave the room for 1 second.
Yeah, just you go outside the door.
Scream into a pillow. You fucking bitch.
But no, I could have probably made a quip right back, but part of me was like so proud.
Yeah, like a little tear comes to your eye
that she was able to make such a cunt to me.
Like that's my baby right there.
Yeah, that's my girl. I've got another question here from a guy called Clap Trip Revolt. Clap Trip Revolt. Yeah,
solid name.
And it's a bit of a paragraph. I kind of gave it a read there while you were pottering off to checking your child. But the long and short of it is he's a Canadian who's moved to Ireland, and he understands the slang and everything and like that, but he seems to be struggling a lot picking up women over here. He's just wondering what advice I or we could offer him to kind of help him address this. And I would say you have an advantage if you have like a foreign accent, be it like a Canadian or anything like that. That's always that works all over the world. Like as an Irishman, I'm sure if I went to America, I'd probably have more interest in females over there, than I would over here. But so you have the advantage for that. And if you're still struggling, I would say in Ireland, the biggest reason why men struggle in Ireland to pick up women is because they're in small towns. Now, in my experience, it is next to fucking impossible to pick up a girl in a small town in Ireland because they're so few and far between, at least the good-looking ones, the desirable ones, that they're always getting hit on by like the local fellas and everything. So they start getting notions that they're much more desirable than they actually are.
Better than they are.
Like, yeah, that kind of thing. So you'd even some of the ones that you wouldn't consider all that good looking, think they're fucking 10s. Like they're impossible to talk to. Like one thing I noticed when I I was living around Tipperary and I moved to Cork. So you have the city, you have much more women, like a lot more competition for them. More so than anything, so they were a bit easier to talk to, a lot more easier to approach. But yeah, I had like way less trouble picking up girls in a city than I had in a small town in Ireland.
That's kind of like here too.
It's probably like that all over the world, I'd argue, though. Yeah, but I remember there was just one girl I went to school with, and she was like really short and really fat, but she had like the most horrible fucking attitude as well. And I was just like, no, you need to have some good in you if you're going to walk around like your shit don't stink, you know? You need to have like a good personality. You need to be like funny or something to counteract your looks. But she was just horrible in every fucking aspect. It didn't matter what angle you looked at her. She wasn't a nice person. And she just walked around the place like the best things in sliced bread.
Oh yeah, like you're talking to them and they don't even like look at you. They just kind of face forward and you're like, oh, are you for real?
Yeah, you're looking at her going, why are you looking down your nose at me? You have a face like a slapped arse. You should be at least some bit kind.
Yeah, or at least just be cool. Like even if anybody talks to me, I would never, under any circumstances, just ignore them like they're not talking to me, you know?
Yeah, like this was the kind of girl that would, like, if you were just walking past her in school and you salute her, you just said hi, she'd tut, you know?
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of thing. It's just there's no redeeming qualities about you at all. But that's what I'd call like proper small town mentality, where even though she had like no redeeming qualities, she was still getting offers because, you know, options are fairly sparse on the ground when you're from a small town. So she got notions about it.
Here they'll say like if a girl in Iowa is a perfect 10, like a perfect 10 Iowa, people will be like, yeah, but she's like an LA 6. You know, like, because depending where you are, I guess LA is just filled with beautiful women. And then you got your girls from Iowa.
That's my thing, because you know the way you got like that American stereotype of, you know, you're all fat and morons and everything else.
Yeah.
It's because you ship all the fat and stupid ones out to be tourists, and you keep all the attractive smart ones over there.
Yeah, we lock them up.
Yeah, you don't allow them. So like where I'm living, I'll just get all the fat American tourists that come up and ask me like ridiculous questions, like, are leprechauns actually real? Which is an actual question I got from an American once. We get them, and meanwhile in Los Angeles, they're all walking around with their tucked and tight and fucking ripped bodies, topless fucking goddesses and gods, like, you know, laughing at all the Europeans because you sent over all your fucking morons to us.
I think your answer was right. The accent. I mean, to be honest, the Canadian accent isn't really a hot one.
To be quite honest now, and a lot of people are not going to like this, speaking for most Europeans, it's actually quite difficult for us to tell the difference between a Canadian and an American accent.
Yeah.
There's so many times where I've talked to Americans and talked to Canadians, unless they're like really Southern or something, I find it really hard to tell them apart, unless they say certain words as well, you know, like about or about.
Yeah, we're kind of the same way with Eastern Europeans, you know. It's like if you're Moldovan, you know, or Lithuanian, if you're any of those, we're like, oh, you're from Russia, huh? It's really nice.
Oh, I'd imagine it's kind of similar for Americans first time hearing maybe like the Scottish accent and the Northern Irish accent and or the Republic of Ireland accent. It's probably hard for like Americans to kind of spot the difference between those.
Yeah, I can definitely tell the difference between those. But I remember a while ago in your Discord, there were a bunch of you Irish, you know, idiots in there. And you're like, oh, you sound you're from about 3 miles east. You know, like you guys really nail it down.
In Ireland, like every single county has a different accent. That's what a lot of people are asking me in my videos is like, what county are you from? You don't typically get that on any other culture's videos on YouTube. That's not a question that's typically asked. Like, where exactly from that country are you from?
Yeah.
It's just a vast chasm of accents, depending on where you are. And Ireland. Sure, you've been to Ireland. You know yourself how they can change, but I suppose we have a good ear for picking up the differences.
Yeah, it's like subtle to me, very subtle. You have to pay attention to pick it up at all.
I was going to say for the people, yeah, Corey has been to Ireland before. And what's that thing you said about the women in Ireland?
Oh, they're all pretty gross, but you guys import really good ones to be like to be like hotel workers. Every girl that gave me coffee or changed the sheets in my hotel was gorgeous, from like Lithuania or something, you know.
It was that thing I was talking to you before about. It was that you mentioned that I kind of helped write a part of my script about Ireland, about how Ireland has some of the finest Polish women you can imagine.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. Now, I think that was the biggest culture shock for me, because here, the people that change your sheets in hotels are just like illegal immigrants that are very unattractive, you know, very unattractive. And over there, that's like supermodels, you know, like, hey, can I get you anything? It's like, I don't know. You get all flabbergasted? Well, maybe.
It's amazing, look, the disparity between looks from country to country. Like, my mate PJ, he was in Sweden, I think it was. And I was asking, you know, of course, as you do, what were the women like over there, lad? And he's like, fuck me. It's like you go into like a corner shop, like a fucking newsagent's, and the girl behind the counter is a fucking solid 10, no question about it. And she's just sitting there kind of depressed at life because she's like really typical looking.
Yeah, she's like an average girl over there.
Yeah, over there, but the rest of the world, she's a fucking 10. I
was talking to one of the waiters, right? And I was like, Jesus Christ, look at the girl that just gave me butter, you know? And he's like, yeah, I fucked her. And he kept pointing out all the other ones he's had sex with. And I was like, dude, how? Because he's pretty gross. And he said, dude, in our country, everybody looks like that, because like in America, if you try to bully a fat girl, she'll just cry, you know. She'll be like, yeah, I'm getting bullied. But you know, in Lithuania, you bully a fat girl and she's like, shit, I better make myself look better to compete. And I was like, God damn, that is such a better outlook on getting bullied. You know, maybe I'm getting bullied because maybe I'm getting bullied because I suck. I should just be better.
Yeah, you kind of like that would be a response. Like, just speaking for myself, if I was a single man and I wasn't getting fanny, I would address some problems with myself. I'd be like, okay, maybe I need to lose a bit of weight or be a bit more pleasant to talk to people, or kind of work on my social skills, stuff like that. I wouldn't really get pissed off at the rest of the world.
Yeah, not like all women need to change the way they view men to find me attractive. It's like maybe I should just get better. I mean, I'm a pretty gross looking guy, but I can tell jokes that make girls laugh, and they like that. Like you gotta find your niche if you want to get anywhere with women. I'm not rich, I'm not handsome, I'm not charming, but I can tell a joke. Like an owl joke, like nobody's business. Some girls like that.
It's like you name an animal, and if it's an owl, I can definitely tell you a joke about it.
Any animal with wings that hoots, and I'm your guy.
Any animal that flies from Harry Potter, that's actually an animal.
Right. Is the animal wise? I'll tell a joke.
Let's see if we can find another question here. I don't know if I've pulled any from Twitter.
I see one from Twitter. What was Ducky like in school?
Yeah, I think a few people have misinterpreted the question, or the kind of how well we know each other. Strictly true online. We cyber every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
He just knows what to say,
And if we miss a Tuesday, I just kind of go to bed dreaming about it, and I wake up stuck to my sheets.
Well, if I miss a Tuesday, we just send each other nudes the following Tuesday to make up for it. But you want to keep them sparse, because that's how you keep the whole long distance thing going. You don't want to give it all away up front.
Yeah, like I'll seductively put my hand over one of my balls. That way, you only get you got to guess what it looks like.
Guess which one this is. Just leaves one dangle between his fingers. If I get it right, I get a full ball pick.
Yeah. You get the back of the ball. Do you ever notice how the back of the ball...
The most desirable part of the ball.
The back of the ball is completely smooth. I don't understand it. How the back of a nutsack is so smooth, like an egg.
One of my mates was telling me this great story about how he's having a toss one night while he's watching porn. And he's watching this girl getting her arse rode off her, proper full on, and he's getting really into it, and it was real close up on it the whole lot, and he was just tossing away, and blew the load, as you do, but then the camera pulled back as he blew the load, and it's just some balls dangling down. Turned out he'd clicked on a tranny video. And he had no idea, and he used to say, he said, he goes, in my head, he goes, I remember what I was thinking. I was like, oh my god, this girl has such a class arse. Oh, she's so unbelievable. And then just to blow it and then have that post fucking nut moment of clarity just lingering over you, already feel ashamed of yourself, but then to have that there as well.
Oh shit, what a nightmare. Or what about if you're watching, like a straight porn video, and right when you blow your load, it always it'll just pan to the guy's face. He'll be like, ugh, and you'll be coming like, no, fuck.
You're just fucking talking to your missus the next day, and she's like, what you get up to last night? You're like, she knows. I saw a mustache. Just don't look her in the eyes. No, nothing. Why? What happened? There's no good recent questions.
Your top movies of all time. Have you seen Die Hard?
Oh, come on. What self-respecting man hasn't seen Die Hard?
Yeah, so would you classify that as Christmas? I know it's an old question, but it's a valid question.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a Christmas movie.
It's 100%. Yeah, Gremlins also. Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
And so is Home Alone, right? That's definitely a Christmas movie also.
Do you know how I class it as a Christmas movie? If it's got a Christmassy jingle in it.
Yeah, anywhere in it. Or a tree.
Yeah, because take, was it Iron Man 3? That was set at Christmas, but that didn't have a single Christmas jingle in it. So nobody thought it was a Christmas movie. Nobody debates that.
Nobody gives a shit about Iron Man 3 at Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. But Die Hard, everyone's like, yeah, it's a fucking Christmas movie. Because you can remember that Christmas jingle, John McClane goes, ho, 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 He has
to take his shoes off and walk across broken glass. Yeah, that's Christmas. Oh shit, the same thing happened. You know what? That's another thing. If glass breaks or ornaments break and you have to walk across it barefoot, that's a Christmas movie. Happened in Home Alone, happened in Die Hard.
I never made that connection before.
We're breaking new ground here.
Which came out first?
Die Hard, definitely. I think Die Hard is late 80s, early
Home Alone
90s.
Stole that from Die Hard.
He must have, yeah.
I get fucking horrific flashes. In the Home Alone movie where me man was it Marv? He steps on the nail and he's barefoot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Fucking God, that scene just I don't know, the idea of anything getting like impaled on that bit of your foot. Oh, it's like your foot crotch or whatever you want to call it.
I watch Home Alone 2. There's that scene when he throws bricks down and the bricks hit him in the face. All the other stuff I'm fine with. But when the brick hits him in the face, I'm like, oh shit, dude. Ow.
Yeah.
It's not even funny.
That's a brick off like a fucking 5-story building.
Yeah,
you're
the
taking
dude
to the
is
face.
dead and you got like 5 of them. Yeah. That's like you would see that on Live Leak and you would just be disgusted with yourself that you watched it.
You just made me think of like, the WWE, all the professional wrestling. I was watching that when I was a kid growing up and I was so adamant that it was real and I used to get so angry at people when they said it wasn't real. And then when you realize you're older and you're watching like MMA, like I watch UFC all the time and I'm just like, yeah, no, if wrestling was real, they'd be fucked up at the end of a match.
Yeah. The MMA guys go hard.
Oh, they do. MMA girls go hard as well. You should see them fight, man. They're fucking animals.
They do, and their faces are all fucked up, and you're like, oh, sweetie. You kind of feel bad for them. But girl fights in school were always worse than guy fights.
Oh, they didn't really fight, though. Just kind of like, both of them like agreed to bend forward and grab each other by the hair and just walk around in a circle.
Yeah.
That's all they ever really did.
Kind of hit the top of each other's heads every now and then, yeah.
Yeah, just,
but
pull on each other's clothes.
But then they would hate each other the rest of the year. When 2 guys hated each other and then they got in a fight, they're both like, oh, fuck,
I was going to say the rest of the year, the rest of their fucking life, lad.
Yeah, as long as I know them in school. But then dudes, I've been in fights in school and then you're in the principal's office and you're just like, man, that was crazy, huh? Yeah, and they're like, yeah, what the fuck? And then you're just cool with each other. Yeah,
like fucking I was involved in a fight in school before and don't even know what fucking started it. One lad pushed another lad, messing, and then that guy pushed him back, also messing, but somewhat annoyed, so he had a bit of venom on the push. I somehow got pushed, and next thing I know, we're all just kicking the fuck out of each other, just like triangle.
Yeah, you got
fucking fists and kick. And like, yeah, fucking teacher and principal came running over and kind of broke it apart and all that. And we're all sitting outside the principal's office while they're in discussing what's going to be done. And we're just talking and we're like, how the fuck did that happen? We didn't hate each other. It just kind of kicked off and we're just like, oh yeah, no, nobody's going to make a cunt out of me.
Right.
And you start swinging.
I'm not going to be the guy.
Yeah. And we were just 3 of us sitting there, like, and there was no venom, there was no hatred. We're just like, what the fuck just happened?
Love being a guy. I got in this one fight with this dude, and he's a big guy, like a big guy, and he picked me up. He actually picked me up and threw me into a cactus. And so like my back was just bloody, and I got him. I was able to get him, and I was able to get him on the ground. I put my knee like on the temple of his head, and I was holding him there. And girls there's always a girl screaming, ah! Like how does that help anything? So we end it, right? The fight's over at that point, and we were at a party. It was like, I don't know, 1:00 in the morning. So we're all hanging out, and I become friends with the guy, and then I reach into his pocket and I steal the keys out of his pocket. I go all the way to his house. I steal his car, and I drive his car and leave it in front of the party, so that when he leaves the party, he's like, what the fuck? And like his car just showed up at the party. Yeah. And I told him, and we're like best friends.
You essentially, like, you got your revenge by chauffeuring his car to him.
Yeah, it was really funny. It's like
a good, listen, I know you fucked up my back by throwing me into a cactus, but why don't I bring your car around?
Yeah. Take that, bitch.
Yeah, that'd fucking show him.
It's good times.
The one thing, though, I miss about being younger is being able to have a fight and not have to be worried about being seriously fucking injured, Yeah. Because when you're like a teenager, you get in a fight, the worst you're going to get is like a black eye or a fat lip that's going to heal in 4 or 5 days and nobody been none the wiser.
Yeah.
You get in a fight now in your 20s and 30s, somebody could straight up fucking kill you.
Or you're just sore either way. Like even if it's like barely a fight, you wake up hungover every single time, right? You have 4 beers hungover, you get in a fight, oh my God, your back cracks and shit. And
I just remember hearing this story. It was a town nearby where I live years ago, and there was this guy who came out of a nightclub and he was jumped by like 3 fellas, and they kicked the fuck out of him, like broke pretty much most, if not all, the teeth in his face.
Oh shit.
And broke his jaw. He had to get like fucking wires and all this kind of shit, everything. And it turned out they thought he was somebody else.
Oh man, what a cool story for him,
just
though.
Like, how fucking horrific is that to do? Like, just some guy coming over to the pub minding his own business, and next thing he's like fucking all his teeth, because that's one thing, the idea of losing teeth.
No, thank you.
Yeah, and then fucking just that level of fucking punishment, and the guys none of them were sure it was actually him.
When you get in a fight now, you should do it like back when you were like 8. It's like, okay, guys, I'll fight, but no faces. Like that's in the stomach, the chest, whatever, no faces.
Fight you outside the club at 3:30. I'll meet you there.
Yeah, meet me by the swing set when the bell rings. No faces.
I didn't really get involved in many fights back then. Like, I had a handful. Nothing ever too mental. The thing is, I've always been reasonably sober enough when I'm out drinking to kind of avoid fights where I can. Or at least de-escalate shit. We used to go drinking with this guy. Don't know why. Nobody liked him. One of the lads liked him. So he used to always be around, but nobody else did. It was just one of them guys. And he'd just always start fights every fucking night.
That shit is
and it was
the
always
worst.
his fault. So you couldn't, you didn't want to back him up at all.
Yeah, the first time you're like, yeah, I'll back you up. But then when it happens again and again, you're like, shit, dude.
Yeah, like we were coming home from a nightclub there one night and it was just this guy and his bird sitting outside this takeaway and they're just making out. The guy in our group, we'll just call him Tony to keep a running team of Tony being an arsehole. Right. But Tony just decides to start a fight with him. He made a remark at him. It was just like, called him a prick or whatever like that. And myself and PJ were just kind of going, what? Why did you just call him a prick? What the fuck was that about? And your man kind of gets up off the takeaway. He's like, here, what's that guy's problem? Take him away the fuck. And we're just like, yeah, just sorry lad. Like, go back to 8 and your young one there. It's fine. And we're just like dragging him away. And then he's getting more angry that we're dragging him away as if we're holding him back.
Yeah, from just fighting some random dude.
Yeah. And he wasn't even that drunk. That was the worst thing. He was just a pain in the arse to be around. Liability.
Have you ever had to get in fights because of the girl you were with?
No, it's not happened yet, and it probably won't. I don't know. Like, Connie's fairly good at kind of dealing with any lads tapping onto her, that kind of way.
Yeah.
She'd rather deal with that herself than involve me.
No.
Like, I absolutely would kick the fuck out of any man that put hands on her now, but I think she gets more satisfaction in telling them to fuck off.
No, I don't mean, I don't mean like you gotta stick up for her because she's yours. I mean, she just starts a fight with some dude, because she's like a loudmouth. No,
that's not happened.
And
I'm surprised it isn't, because I have an ex that was very mouthy.
Yeah, oh man, I've had women that are so mouthy, and eventually you just kind of learn to look at the dude and be like, hey man, look at this crazy bitch. Instead of trying to fight, because I gotta back up my girl, you just realize like you're fucking crazy. You don't start fights with me. So that's the thing. The logical part of my mind would instantly be angry at her. I'd be like, what the fuck you doing putting me in this situation? Yeah, you don't do that to me. I was driving.
You don't put me in this. I put myself in these situations. I make the decision whether or not to fight, not you.
I remember we were driving one time, me and this girl, and this truck driver was kind of blocking all the traffic, but that's only because he had to like navigate where he was going. And she slams a middle finger up on the window and yells, "Fuck you" to this guy, right? So you hear his air brakes like, he just gets out. He's like, "What the fuck?" I was like, dude. I mean, hit her. You know what?
She put me in this situation.
Just fucking hit her.
I'll hold her arms. You get a free shot.
Seriously, just take one good shot. In the neck would be nice. Yeah, it's always the worst. It's always the worst when other people like make you fight.
Yeah,
that's what I like about being in my 30s. It rarely ever happens. The only time it would ever happen now is if you're out drinking and some dude that's like 22 just starts some shit just because he's that, he has that 22 mentality.
Yeah. Well, here's a question. Do you think you'd be able to handle yourself in that situation?
Like be able to fight? I mean, I would fight, but I get my ass kicked at this point, I think. I think I've gotten so soft. I have 2 girls, for like the past 8 years, I've had 2 little girls. I think that's just made me so soft that,
Do you know what? My pride will not allow me to say anything other than I'm kicking somebody's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've like fucking. Oh, if I was put in that situation, I'm afraid I won't be able to stop fighting.
Oh yeah. Look at you though. Jesus, somebody holding me back. You're like, no, seriously.
I just gotta keep going until somebody actually kills me, or I end up killing somebody else.
You know what? I'm not starting shit because I don't want to end up in jail. You always have that friend too. I don't want to get arrested because I do so much damage. Like, okay.
So the things like that, you just need. Sometimes all you need is the best line to put somebody down, put somebody off fighting you. Like a good Irish one is you look them in the eye and you go, "Do you want to wake up with a crowd around you?"
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Or how would you like to be picking up your teeth with broken fingers?
Do you remember the classic? It's gonna be a 2-hit fight. No, a 3-hit fight. Me hitting you hitting the floor, and the ambulance hitting 60 on the way to pick you up.
Yeah, in hindsight, that one's very long-winded, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes a while. You're already on the floor by then.
Great one I heard before. I can't even remember where I heard it, but it was just a guy looked at the other guy and just went, "I will ruin your life."
It's pretty good.
And that was it. Like, that is the most ominous fucking threat ever. That's like, when a good horror movie doesn't actually show the monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, just planting the seed of what he could do.
Do you remember fights back in grade school? All somebody had to do was like back when you were 7 or 8 is if a kid started doing like those karate moves, like wow, like moving his hands around, and you'd just be like, oh shit, Kevin knows karate. So you would just be like, all right, man, my bad. Sorry. It's like everybody just watched karate movies back then, and all you had to do was fake it.
Just like when you're fighting back then, it would just take one kid to actually throw a real punch, and everybody just goes, whoa, what the fuck was that?
The kid that gets punched starts crying.
Yeah, it's just like, and then the guy who punched him is like, I'm sorry, don't tell anyone.
Yeah, don't tell mom.
Yeah.
You're fine, you're okay. Yeah, you would never fuck with a kid that just pretended like he knew karate. I don't even know if he knew karate to this day. But as soon as they start doing the moves, like it looks like he's doing a Tai Chi or whatever, you would back up like, God damn. Oh, and there's no way.
Just to bring the tone down a bit more, I know a guy who was with a girl for a night who pretended she knew what a blowjob was.
Go on.
Let that sink in for a second. So basically, yeah, he met up with this girl. He was driving, so they went off in his car to a kind of secluded road, as he used to do back in the day, because we had cars but not houses.
Yeah.
And that was grand. And he came back maybe about 20-25 minutes later. She got out of the car and, got back into her friend's car and drove off, and we ran out straight over to him. We're like, what's the scoop? What happened? And he was kind of like speechless in the car. And we're like, what's wrong? And he was like, well, she said she wanted to give me a blowjob. And I was like, okay. And so I got me cock out, and, she leaned over, she grabbed it and started blowing on it. Like she was like fucking testing the microphone. Trying
to inflate the balls.
Yeah, but like not even, she didn't even put her mouth on it, he was saying. She just blew the tip of it.
What?
Just like like that, He was like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should kind of like, no, that's not what it is or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just got really awkward, he said, inside the car while she was doing this, and he asked her to stop, and it was just this awkward silence. He didn't know what to say to her. So he just came back and dropped her off.
Oh, shit.
I like to think that like she went to one of her girlfriends and asked her how you give a blowjob. And the girlfriend that she asked didn't have a clue, but she like sometime in the past told her how much she loves giving blowjobs.
Yeah.
So she tried saving it by just making up what she thought a blowjob was. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Like the way guys do that, and when you're like 14 and they're like, yeah, well, I've had sex with 19 girls.
Yeah. I had sex with this girl. You wouldn't know her if she goes to a different school, but I've totally had sex with her.
I stuck it all the way into her knee.
And she loved it. I peed inside of her and everything.
Gross.
Yeah, girls are gross.
I think on that point, we'll leave it there. So thanks for joining us, Corey. If people want to see more of Corey, I will leave his channel linked in the description and the pinned comment on this. And if you're listening on Spotify, his channel name is White Corey. I'm sure you'll find it somewhere or another through that. He does live streams every Saturday, is it?
Every Saturday, 1 p.m. Arizona time.
Yeah, which is about, 9 p.m. for my time, Irish time.
I don't know. Someone else does the math.
It's about that of a Saturday anyway, yeah. What topics do you cover, Corey? What do you do?
Anything that I'm interested in at the time, like if you like guys having sex with Twilight Sparkle, My Little Ponies, if you like guys that wear masks and walk around.
Well, you might want to give that context because they're going to think you're a brony. If you like guys taking the piss out of people who are
right, that
ponies.
did sound, yeah. Everybody's like, unsubscribe real quick. No. Yeah, if you like guys talking about those weirdos, yeah, then check it out. You'll love it. Or you won't.
He is. He's very funny. I will say that. That sounded so like fucking fake and professional. See the way I'm trying to turn on my video voice?
I do. I love it. It's a good video voice.
But he is very funny. I have a great time for Corey. He's fucking hilarious. And one of the best live streamers who can just be funny off the cuff. I actually used to do live streams on my channel, and I used to have Corey on with me the whole time. And I had to stop doing them because he was funnier than me.
It was a good time. Yeah, before you go though, do you remember that live stream you had when my wife's water broke? And I do. I'd be like, all right, I gotta go have a baby.
Yeah, we're just enjoying a nice live stream, and then his wife went and ruined it by having a child.
Women ruin everything, and then the child ruined my YouTube dreams of making funny videos.
And then I hadn't seen you then for like 6 months after that.
Yeah, women. Whether they're older or younger, if they're babies, they still just wreck everything. But yeah, seriously though, thank you for having me, man. You're a legend. You're a legend. in the community.
Yeah, well, I'll have to be back on your live stream one of these days now.
You should. It's always a blast.
So, everyone, go check him out if you're looking for something to do every Saturday, and maybe you can convince him to even start making some more videos. Get up off his fucking lazy arse and do something. Am I right? Right, I'll leave it there. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. Say bye, Corey, you ignorant fuck.
Bye, Corey.